What's up, guys? This is Mad Mike Podcast. My name is Michelle Vasvary. I am the host. My co-host, if you can even really loosely use that term, is Mark Day. Say hi, idiot.
What's up, idiot?
Okay. I just called you an idiot. You just don't do the say, what's it called? You just did the say back.
I just did like the old ventriloquist joke. You know, like, what's up, dummy? Say hi,
No,
dummy.
I think you
Hi,
did
dummy.
whatever you say, I say whatever jumps off me is you, or something about glue. I don't know. You know what I'm talking about.
What? Like, you're rubber, I'm glue, whatever you say.
Yes, I knew you'd fucking know that phrase.
I'm so smart.
Because
That's
it's
why
a
I'm your
phrase
co-host.
a 5-year-old would say. Okay, and today, guys, we have a very special guest in the house, Adam Yenzer.
Yep.
I always want to say Yesner. Do you get that a lot?
I get that from time to time. A lot of people will say it's Yenser. A lot of people put the Z like Yenzer. But I respond to either.
That's good.
Yeah, I'm not picky about it.
I'm not picky either. My last name is Vasvary, and if you're really saying it right, in Hungarian, it's supposed to be Vushvari. And like no one's doing all
no
that.
No one's nailing it when they say it.
Well, yeah, and all the grandparents are dead. No one cares
Yeah.
if we don't say it. That we, Anyways, oh God, I hate myself. Okay, so you guys, I wrote this down. Hold on, I like to be thorough. Adam is a stand-up comedian.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, check. A writer for the Ellen DeGeneres Show,
Check.
which they just call Ellen. Right?
Yep.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I don't want to make Ellen DeGeneres mad. I'm going to get this
Again,
right.
they'll respond to either.
Oh, again, okay. We're
it's like
flex.
formalities
We're
here.
flexible.
Yeah.
And a contributor to SNL's Weekend Update.
Like freelance submitting. Yeah.
Freelance,
Yeah.
of
Very
course.
cool.
Yeah. I did that once too, but they sent me an email back saying, please don't contact
Oh, really?
us or
I haven't
our
gotten that yet.
affiliates ever again.
Yeah.
I did a freelance thing once to Batman the Animated Series and never heard back from them.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah.
You could freelance for that?
No, I have no idea. I sent them a story
sent
idea.
them a story idea.
I did.
Which they probably laughed at and threw on the ground.
You just invent a Batman bad guy?
Yeah, I did. It was actually pretty cool. I'd have to think about what it was, but anyway,
Wow, Mark.
Yeah, cool,
Thanks
right?
for telling us that.
I like cartoons.
Okay. So, Adam, I know it's okay. So I've never talked about this on the show.
Uh-huh.
On this show. But I feel like we have kind of similar careers. I mean, you're a whole lot more successure than me.
You have a podcast in your living room. I know. don't sell yourself
What are you
short.
talking about? This is a total professional studio. We're actually coming to you live from the Sony lot. That's where we are.
Hey, we are the Warner Brothers.
You know what?
across
I was
the
going to say, you could go for the Warner Brothers lot at least.
Across the
Yeah, we're
You're
totally at
close
Warner
to on
Brothers.
the Warner Brothers lot.
street. Exactly.
I've tried to get on there many times. They usually stop me. And they're like, come on, Michelle. We had this talk before.
They know you by first name now. They're like,
Actually, today,
"Michelle."
you know, it's really funny. There was a bunch of food trucks over there, and I parked at Warner Brothers Records for like a second so I could get my sub sandwich.
Sure.
And then the old guard came out, and he was like, whose car is this? And I was like, it's mine. And I'm like holding my sandwich. I'm already walking. I'm like, I'm leaving. And he was like, he just stood there and looked at me, and he's like, you know you can't park here. And I'm like, relax, Grandpa.
You beat him on a technicality. He's like, I wish I would have thought about that. That's probably
And
what's going on.
then my car wouldn't start. And he's just standing there, and I'm like, oh, shit, please.
Might as well eat my sub sandwich.
Anyways, so I guess back to our similar careers.
Our similar career arc, yeah.
I work for Judge Judy,
Uh-huh.
and you work for Ellen.
Uh-huh.
And here in LA, our shows are on at the same time,
That's right,
Dun, dun.
4 p.m. So that kind of makes us rivals as well.
The shows are rivals, yeah.
The shows are well, we're okay.
No, I think you guys.
I think
are
that's how
enemies.
We're personally rivals.
I think that maybe we should be personal rivals.
Uh-huh.
Look out, Crystalia.
Oh yeah, Crystalia, that motherfucker. What do you think about
He's a
Crystalia?
personal rival of yours?
Yeah.
I only know him. I have like a mutual friend with him. I've seen him do stand up. I don't love him. I don't hate him.
Well, we hate him here.
Oh, okay. Has he been on here or
No,
you
he
you
has
just
not been
personally
on
hate him?
here. We told this story the first episode, but real
We
quick.
can recap it, sure.
We are real quick. A little recap. About 6 weeks ago, 2 months ago, me and Mark were at a coffee shop at Priscilla's down here on the street.
Uh-huh.
And he sat probably where you're sitting next to me.
Okay.
And we're having a production meeting, like a legit one. We probably should have just had it here, but I don't know why we had it there. And we
cooler.
I guess it's cooler. And he was dissing us to his girlfriend the whole time, personally, like calling us names and everything. And then
Out loud to you?
No, like whispering,
like-
because like he could hear there was like certain like buzzwords he could hear because we're talking about our podcast, we're bringing on some comedians, and like those were like what, and then he would like lean over and be like, and then she'd be like, and like kind of like point like, oh, these are retards.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
And full disclosure, I had no idea who he was.
Yeah, and I did. So, because I met him one time at the comedy store like a while ago, and he was not nice to me then either. So, I ignored him like a lady, right? Right? And then he leaves, and Mark's like, and Mark is Mormon. He doesn't lie. Mark
No.
is like,
You're not allowed to lie, right?
No, we're not allowed to lie. We're not allowed to chop down cherry trees.
Okay.
those two are the first
Those
two
are the top
things.
tenets of the religion, actually. Yeah.
Okay. Never even seen a cherry tree. So anyways, so whatever, Chris leaves with his stupid girlfriend, and he tells me, or sorry, Chris leaves, Mark tells me he's making fun of us. So I said, okay, well, this is a fixable solution. So I tweet him and I say, hey, dumb fuck with your big fucking head. It's
It
disrespectful.
sounds like you handled this like a lady.
Oh yeah.
So I said, well, here's the twist. I was nice at the end of the tweet. And I said, we heard you making fun of us, but hey, we need a guest for our first episode of the podcast if you're interested. See,
Oh,
that was
okay.
nice. I
I
spun
see.
it.
I
I
see.
spun it. And then he didn't respond. Totally fine. So I said, I should have clarified. It was about 90 minutes ago, and we were sitting at a coffee shop, and you were telling some girl how that she was so, quote, awesome. And then you ate a muffin. And then, And then I looked a couple days later, and Chris blocked me on Twitter, and I didn't know you could be blocked on Twitter.
Oh, so I didn't know you could. Yeah.
I know
I
Facebook
see.
for sure.
He didn't respond. He blocked her.
Okay.
Is that
And
a
then-
blockable offense to say, hey, will you be on our podcast?
Well, hold on. You're saying the part where you said, "Hey, can you be on our podcast?" You're leaving out all the profanity before that. You're like, all I did
Because Chris
all I
D'Elia
did
has
was-
nothing to
all
do
I
with
did was-
profanity.
all I did was ask him to be on our podcast and
And point out that he's
preface
got
it with what did
that
you
he's
call
got a.
it?
I said, hey. I think I don't remember. It was so long ago now.
Yeah.
It's unsearchable. I think I said, hey, dickhead with your big dickhead. I think that was something like that.
Yeah,
Something
yeah,
about
why would he block you for that?
I don't know.
I know.
I even think that's kind of enduring and cute. Anyways, so you work on Ellen, and Ellen's a very talented person. And I was a fan of hers when she had her sitcom
Oh, yeah.
before Ellen.
What was that show called?
I think it was called The Ellen DeGeneres Show.
It was.
You should probably know. I think. I just remember Jeremy Piven was in
Right.
it, and that was awesome. And he pretty much played the same character in that show that he always plays.
Well, he has range.
But fuck it. He can get away with it. He's Jeremy Piven.
Absolutely.
And I just did the lip smacking thing. It's so gross.
It was just it was just called Ellen.
Oh, thank you, Brian, our engineer. That's weird.
It's come full circle.
A full circle, I feel like. Whatever. Okay, so can you kind of walk us through Adam? He calls it the journey, which I've asked him not to call it that
Okay.
because it sounds stupid. Your comedy path. You started doing stand up when?
I started doing stand up when I was living in New York. I had in college. I got an internship at Late Night with Conan O'Brien in New York.
Oh, wow.
So that's where I started. Before that, I had interned at the Maury Povich show.
Which I definitely want to get to.
for a semester, and then so then I moved up to New York, and I interned for Late Night with Conan O'Brien for about a year. I just kept coming back to intern every semester until eventually I graduated, and they hired me, and I became the intern coordinator and the receptionist there. So I'd been living in New York for probably about 6 months, and it had been stand-up had been something I wanted to try to do for years, and I kind of like wrote down ideas in notebooks, but never really got up the nerve to do it. And then it was one night during the writer's strike back in 2007 when we were kind of not working for a while.
Yeah.
There was a open mic at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater in New York that was like Saturday at midnight or something like that, and Pete Holmes hosted it at the time.
Oh, nice.
And so it was like a lottery thing, and I decided to put 5 minutes together and went out there. Didn't tell anybody I was doing it because if it went well, I wanted to tell everybody it went well, and if it did not go well, I didn't want
then you just
anyone,
don't say anything.
No one ever had to know I was there. But yeah, I went up there and I was super nervous the first time, but I got through my set and I got laughs, and that's kind of where I started there. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah,
I actually totally love the UCB in New York.
Yeah, it was great. I did that there, and then I had taken I took 2 levels of sketch writing classes there at the one in New York. Yeah, but never done improv, but I've done stand up there and sketch writing.
I'll say it. I'm not the biggest fan of improv.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's some people that I like watching do improv, but then there's a lot of people that it's just it's sad
it just
to
becomes
watch.
more the same,
Yeah.
right? It's like it's original there.
Yeah.
It's not even that. It's just like someone yells out airplane, and then they got to do a scene based off that,
Right.
and it's just like, oh god. I've been at the UCB here in LA where people have yelled out like shoes. And I'm like, oh,
I think
God,
it
I gotta
depends
watch
on
this.
I think it depends on your problem is the people in the audience aren't coming up with good enough ideas to shout out.
Yeah. Like I've been there where they're like newspaper. I'm like, oh my God, 30 minutes of, I can't. I gotta go. I'm gonna pretend I'm gonna go into the bathroom and just leave.
I'll show you what I'll do with the newspaper.
Right.
Head on to the bathroom.
But then that was how I got started. Then was in New York doing stand. But then I used to do some other shows in New York. My first time went really well. My second time was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Why?
I went to there was this place near Penn Station called Maui Taco, and they had a open mic in the basement of like this taco restaurant. And so I'd done good at the Upright Citizens Brigade, so I was like, oh, I want to go out and try this again. Went to this other one that somebody had told me about, and there was other comics down there, and there was an audience of about 15 people, and they were all together. They were like exchange students from England or something like that.
Oh no!
And so they were all sitting there, and then the first like 4 or 5 comics went up, and they were all just sort of so. Nobody got a great reaction.
Right.
And then right before I went up, the host decided to do like 20 minutes of material. Just going on and on and on. And then he goes, are you guys ready for your next comic? And this audience goes, actually, we have to get going. So they all get up and leave. And so this is my second time ever doing stand-up. So I'm thinking like the audience left, like the show's over.
Right.
Oh, well, I don't get to go up. And he's like, no, you'll still go up. We'll just watch you. So then I go up on stage in front of like 5 comedians who had just not done well.
Right, who are just
all
sitting
sitting there
crossed.
staring with their arms crossed. And I remember telling my first joke, and like I would like wait for a laugh. It was just like silence for like 5 seconds, and then the host just nodded and goes, "It's very funny."
And then the slow crunch of a taco.
And then it was just silence for the next 5 or 10 minutes, however long I was on stage.
Oh,
Man,
God.
taco crowd is rough.
Yeah.
Maui, what was it called?
Maui Taco.
Maui Taco. Steer
Yeah.
clear, you guys.
Well,
if you're...
I'd gone back there. And there were other times when it went better, but
How
that
was the food?
The food wasn't great.
Jeez.
I mean,
Wait.
Jesus, I hope they're closed down. Fuck them.
Bad tacos, bad comedy. Come on down. Now we talk.
Maui Tacos. That's stupid. Okay, so you interned at Maury Povich.
Yeah, that was like when I was probably sophomore in college. I'd send out like intern applications like everywhere I'd wanted to intern, like Saturday Night Live, Letterman, Conan, Daily Show, like anything I
And
could
you
find.
nailed Maury.
And then I also send out like any other contact info to like any TV show in New York. Literally, the only one I heard back from was the Maury Povich show.
I love it.
And I was like, well, it's a show that
a
people
show.
know, and it was over the summer. I wasn't doing anything else, so yeah, I did
Yeah.
that. And then
I didn't know they filmed there. For some reason, I thought,
they film. I think now they might film in Connecticut.
okay.
But at the time, they were filming at the Hotel Pennsylvania on like
Oh my God, I've been
around
there.
33rd Street, I think,
Yeah.
in New York. Yeah. And like I've had like other internships, and there's usually like different things that they have the interns do. At Maury, our job from morning to night was just sitting in front of phones that would ring off the hook with people calling up that wanted to be on the show.
really?
So it was just like we were every now and then we'd get to leave to go like either pick up a guest and bring them back to the studio, or if there was like a little errand that needed to be run. But for the most part, we were just sitting in front of phones, and it was just people calling up that either you know had some problem that they wanted help with, or for the most part wanted paternity tests.
Right. And I actually, this is again where our 2 careers are like parallel. I worked on a show called CBS's The Test, where you had to take a test to come on the show, such as a paternity test or a drug test or a polygraph test. And that was the almost broke me as a
really?
human being.
So it was any one of those tests?
It was any one of those tests, but then we had to stop doing the drug test because I remember we picked up a litigant from, she flew in from Chicago, and she was in our lobby wearing, I guess you could say sweat clothes, what was left of sweat clothes. And she had on socks, but like then the flip-flop, you know?
Uh-huh.
And she said, we knew that she was definitely on drugs. But then she said, well, y'all should be happy because I only had one smack today. I only had one. I normally have 10 by now. But I calmed it down for y'all. I calmed it down. And my boss looked at me and said, get her the fuck out of the lobby now.
Wow.
Because we were, at the Paramount lot. We were in a nice lot. And so we had to literally, she had just flown in. We had to take her back to LAX and send her back to Chicago. And she did not come on the show.
So I don't get to do a paternity test?
No.
I remember we would get calls from people, and we just had to we had like a sheet that we would fill out with like briefly what their story is. And I remember one lady calling up and being like I'm sure, I want to bring these two guys on. I'm sure one of them is the father. And we always had to be like, why do you think this is the father? Is there any other possible people that could be the father? And she kept going, no, it's one of these two guys. The baby, he has his nose. I was only with this guy. I was like, is there anyone else that you would possibly have to bring on? And she's like, well, there are about 8 other guys. And it's like, I don't even know how that happens.
And you're
within
so
that
what's your
time
number?
period, there was eight different people. And then, so we'd get legitimate calls, but then also because on that show, they would always put up the number on the screen, like if your parents dress too sexy, call this number.
Right.
So there would also, so it was about 50% real calls, and then every kid in the country prank calling this number.
Sure.
Yeah.
And we would get a guy who would call every single day claiming to be Charles Manson.
Oh my
which
God.
Could
I
have
love
possibly been
Maybe
him.
it
You
was.
get-
It could
you get-
have.
You get one call a day. It could have been him.
Was there a
If you
beep?
get one call a day. And I think that's the call he would make.
It's possible.
There was a beep every 40 seconds, and it said, "This is
Yeah.
a call from San Quentin."
Well, we did get mail from there was jail mail bins, just people that wrote
Oh, I
wrote letters
bet.
from jail, and then there was I'm trying to think what the other prank. Oh, not a prank call, but people would always call up and ask to speak to Murray. That was what
Directly.
they called him. They said, "Yeah, is Murray there? Can I
Yeah.
talk to Murray?"
Yeah.
And we'd get that all day.
The judge on my show, she actually gets a lot of mail directly where
yeah?
people want her to basically be their lawyer.
Oh, I
We're
see.
like, lickety split, coming right up, guy who
Yeah.
wrote the handwritten letter in 2015. So then you were at Conan, though.
Yeah, so then I was working at Conan, and then so I started as the intern coordinator and the receptionist there, and then I became the segment producer's assistant. Moved out here for the Tonight Show when he took over
wow.
the
Oh, and
Tonight
he moved.
Show.
Oh, nice.
So that was when I moved to LA. That was like 6 years ago now. And then worked at the Tonight Show. And then when he moved to the TBS show, I worked at the TBS show for a year. And then started sending out writing samples and applied to the position at Ellen. And I've been there like 4 years now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I've still been doing stand-up when I can around LA. I got to do a spot on Conan last year, which was really cool.
And I saw that.
Yeah.
And I've been doing, I do the club sometimes and little bar shows here and there. I get up about once or twice a week still.
Wow.
That's cool.
I mean, because it's hard, especially, when you're working like
Yeah.
9, especially if you work like 9 to 6. Well, a lot of the open mics, you have to be there at like 4 or 5 p.m. just to sign
can't.
up.
That's why I can't get up to the club open mics at all because you have to be there at like 5 and then wait around for an hour until they post the list. Yeah, so
It's
haven't
you
really
can't do
done
it. It's
those.
impossible.
Yeah.
But I feel like today, it almost when you go to an open mic, like I love the Sunday night at Liquid Zoo, but it'll take up your
with
whole
Ryan Talmo.
Yeah, with Ryan Talmo.
Yeah.
And he actually retired, but he just came back. It lasted like
He
a month.
retired and then came back. I didn't know that.
He retired from.
Kinda like
I'm sorry.
Hostess.
Yeah, he retired from just that Sunday night.
Oh, okay.
Hosting it, and then he just came back. He's coming back
He
actually
came out of retirement.
this Sunday. Yeah, he's coming out of retirement. He's fucking Larry Bird. Right? Is that? Why do I always make Larry Bird references?
I'm not sure.
I just
don't
kind of
think
obsessed
Larry
with
Bird
him,
did
but
that,
I don't really know
okay.
too much. So I just kind of it always sounds like that's something he would do.
Yeah.
But it takes up your whole night. You're there for like 3.5 hours.
yeah.
And the likelihood of someone seeing you, I hate to say it, is pretty rare. Like, I saw a talent scout there once.
You saw a talent scout at the Liquid Zoo?
Listen.
No, you didn't.
Yes,
No, you
she had on glasses.
Uh-huh.
She looked official.
Uh-huh.
And she had like this. She had this set up, like a
Really?
binder and a notebook, and she was taking notes.
And she wasn't another comic?
I was gonna say,
She
and
was
she went
not.
up in about 40
And did
minutes and
those
did
shows.
5.
No, she was not. She looked like a business lady. She had a whole thing.
I don't even think of open mics as a place that people are gonna see you. I just like it's like a place to test out material.
It's definitely a
Right.
test to test, and
Yeah.
I've just met a lot of cool other comedians.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah, it's a good place to meet comedians.
Oh, for sure. Almost everybody that we've
I
had on the
like
show.
I like that one.
Everybody there
and,
happens to be a comedian.
I like that one, and I like Mouthy Pants in North Hollywood. Have you done that one?
I have
At,
never done that one. I've actually been meaning to do that
Yeah,
one.
that's probably my favorite one. The comics there are cool, and it's supportive.
gonna
There's
write
a
it
lot
down.
of there's a lot of open mics around where either you're competing with half the bar who's not there to see the show at
Right.
all, or it's just comics that are there to judge and try not to laugh at what anyone else says.
Right, and I that's why I won't go back to
this
coffee
is what
shops.
I don't. There's one that I've done. It's not really an open mic. I guess it's more of a book show, but it feels like an open mic down at Brennan's in Marina Del Rey. And you're always competing with the bar there. Like the people will walk in and sit right where the open mic is happening and just have conversations at their table. And the thing that I never understand is how people have like no respect for comedy in the way they would have respect for anything else that was going on in a bar.
No.
Like if there's if I go into a coffee shop and there's a poetry reading there, I have no respect for poetry. I hate poetry.
Right.
But I'm not gonna sit there and be like, let's just sit here and talk while these people try to do this.
Right.
Sorry, yeah, we'll go sit over here. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, like this woman's like
Interrupt your
there.
flow.
I feel awkward about it, but no, if it's an open mic, if people are doing comedy, people just come in and be as loud as they want through the whole thing.
Yeah, I definitely think we get no respect
Yeah.
whatsoever. Yeah, I've actually like stopped before in like a set while some guy is just like ranting about his drink order, and I'll just stop and just listen to him because I'm not getting through it anyways. So whatever. Anyways, so obviously you're on pretty good terms with Conan still.
Yeah, I love it there.
How's he? He seems like such a nice guy.
He's great. Yeah.
I was gonna say
Really
I've
smart, really funny, very nice guy.
I've drank with some of his crew at that little Italian place
Oh
across
yeah,
the thing.
yep, yeah. They go over there sometimes, and yeah.
And everyone just seems. I've always missed Conan when he walks by.
Uh-huh.
I missed him one time in New York. There was a big group of people. We were in the meat packing and district, and everyone saw him except for me. I was on my phone, and then they were like, "Michelle, you can literally still see his head. Look."
He's so tall. How could you miss
And
him?
I missed him completely. And then I missed him outside Warner Brothers too. Someone was like, Conan just walked by us. And I was like, I turned and I'm like, where? And he was gone.
That was in an episode of The Office, wasn't it? Where they're in New York. Did you guys watch The Office?
Yeah.
Yeah, I watched it.
And
yeah.
I think there's one where they're in New York outside Rockefeller Center, and Steve Carell's talking to the camera about wanting to see a celebrity, and
Oh, a couple of
Conan,
them.
Oh, and then
Conan
yeah.
walks by in the background.
That's
and don't
me.
See him. Yeah.
That's me with Conan. If I ever
Yeah.
get to meet him someday.
No, I loved that show growing up. It was such a dream to like get the internship there. I remember the semester I started interning there. Like when they would just like when we first got there, it was like a bunch of other college kids. There's one other guy I think I went to Penn State. There's one other guy there from Penn State, and there's people from all these other schools, and they're showing us like the tour of the studio. And I remember being starstruck by inanimate objects like in the prop room.
Right.
Like there was the Triumph doll was sitting there.
Oh, see, yeah,
And
that's a
we
big
were
deal.
freaking out.
Yeah.
And at the time they were doing this bit, it was called The Cactus Chef playing We Didn't Start the Fire on a flute. And it was just like a giant cactus playing the flute. And we saw it like in the prop room, and we're like, "Oh, it's the Cactus Chef!" And we all got our picture with it. And it was,
Yeah.
it's just yeah.
See, that's nice though.
No, I think that's how we all are when we intern. I mean,
Yeah.
my internship was with Yo Gabba Gabba,
Oh, nice.
and the first time I saw like the Yo Gabba Gabba set, I was like, ah, I'm like not even a toddler, It's like, holy cow, it's Fufa, stuff like that.
Wow,
was pretty
Mark. Way to.
Funny. Hey, don't knock my
Just
hustle.
ruin-
Yeah,
When,
don't knock Yo Gabba Gabba.
Yeah, well, just don't embarrass me, Mark. Okay,
late for
that was
that.
the last Yo Gabba Gabba reference.
Okay. Well, but back to Conan though. I mean, how rad was it then to be like did was he the one that asked you to then do a stand up on his show, or?
Oh no, I mean you just the kind of the route that you go for getting like a stand up set on late night on any of the late night shows. Sometimes they'll go out to like the Improv or the Laugh Factory and scout, or apparently Liquid Zoo.
Right? I'm telling you.
There's apparently talent scouts at Liquid Zoo on Sepulveda on Sunday at midnight.
So you should go, guys.
Sometimes they'll go out and check them out there. Then there's other comics, whether it's the comic themselves or their agent. If you tape, like a set that you send to them and they like it, then they'll either put you on a showcase or work with you to kind of refine the set and get it on TV. But it's a producer that works with
Reaches
you for that,
out, or talent coordinator.
It's not Conan coming out to the Liquid Zoo to
well, that's my
listen to
fantasy.
your set.
That would be amazing. By the way,
did he remember you though? When
Yeah.
you went?
Oh yeah.
I mean, how was that? Was it like just
Oh,
like really satisfying?
It was
to
great.
be like,
It was great to be back there and see everybody. Because I still, it's nice that I work on the same lot.
Sure.
I still
you guys
see
are right
those
across
people
the
around.
thing.
It was great to be back there and see everybody again. And I remember, I remember standing behind. I was nervous in the weeks leading up to it, and then I wasn't super nervous that day. But I don't remember a lot of being out there doing my set. I remember being behind the curtains before they open, and then and then I remember at the end like Conan walking over, and I don't really remember saying the jokes.
Yeah, I kind of feel like that. I feel like there's only, man, I mean, yeah, I feel like I've done a lot of sets where I'm like, what did I say? And then I'll make Brian like videotape him sometimes. Then I'll be like, oh yeah, that's right. But yeah, when you're out there, it's just like, I don't know, you can't really, and especially if you're actually like looking at people in the face. You kind of remember that versus what you're actually saying. Because a similar thing just happened to me at a bar show at the Springbok. There was this girl who was playing the guitar. It was really weird. And then she got up and left, but she was done. And her whole family was like this big table of people. And I didn't realize that was her family. So they get up to leave as I'm getting on stage. And I say, hey, Amanda's family, get back here. And then I made them all come back and listen to my set. Thank God they were like good sports about it.
Oh, okay.
But
that
almost happened to me too, where it would have just been me talking to two other comics that are waiting to go up. But it turned out good. They were really good sports. And I used really profane language and stared at the grandmother. And as I did it, like stared her in the eyes. She's laughing the hardest though.
I always bring when I go back to Pennsylvania, I'll do shows and my family will come out to see me. Like my parents and my brothers will come and my aunts and uncles will come out. And I always tell them like every time they come out, I always like do the disclaimer of like I work clean, but I have no idea what I'm exposing you to on this show because they'll always then I'm always sitting here listening to these other comics saying.
Like talk about vaginas and
my aunts and uncles and my entire extended family.
Right.
Yeah, especially I feel like God, Midwest. I just did an open mic for fun in January when I was home in Cleveland, and there was one guy that got up. His name was Schizo Bill, and he literally talked about, and his set was actually phenomenal, and he just talked about his how he almost killed himself and he was in the mental hospital. And the drugs that he took. No, but it was really good. I swear to God. And I take my best friend who's like.
But where did the name Schizo Bill come from?
Because he has schizophrenia. I was gonna be like, God, this guy's so smart.
I'm waiting for the backstory.
But I took my best friend who's like a wholesome, mom, and she's gonna be a nurse and everything. And I said, same thing. I was like, me, I'm a filthy pirate hooker, but someone's probably gonna say something more messed up. Like, I went up there and did a set about Disney's Frozen. It was a pretty safe set. And this guy just got up there and talked about how he tried to kill himself numerous times.
Do you guys want to hear Schizo Bill?
Sure.
Do you have it? No, you don't. Oh my God, you actually found it. This is him, I think.
And he's in a bad mood. And he's in a bad mood.
That's
him.
him.
This guy working at McDonald's. You ever seen a really fat guy working at McDonald's? And he's in a good mood, and he's in a good mood because he's a really fat guy working at McDonald's.
See, he's funny. You didn't believe me.
My illness robs me of the ability to feel emotion or compassion like normal people. That's why I'm a Republican.
Okay, well that joke went a little. Okay,
people
can you cut it?
You
Cut
were
Schizo
gonna boo his joke that got the applause break.
But I found that
Bill. Republican jokes, huh?
Someone
That's just me.
saying, screw you, go Obama.
I guess so. Really? So you're working on Ellen, doing stand-up once a week.
Yep.
what's kind of do you have goals or just like,
No,
let's see how it goes?
No, I achieved all my goals, and I don't think you should set new goals for yourself once you achieve them.
That's smart, actually.
People are never satisfied because they keep setting new goals. They'll always say to me like, oh, do you want to be like a cast member on SNL? And I'm like, no. And they're like, do you want to write a sitcom or a movie? I'm like, no. Like I wanted to do stand up on TV, and I wanted to write for a TV show.
Boom
and
and
so
boom.
now I'm done.
That's it.
Now I'm done. Yeah.
You should retire.
Eventually.
Eventually,
But
I mean.
no, you don't need to keep setting goals for yourself once you've achieved them.
That's actually
Just add addendums.
that's smart. It is. It's just smart. It makes sense. You know what I mean? It's thinking outside the box also.
Exactly.
And you know what I mean, Mark? Are you getting it? Because you look confused. What he said was real smart.
Yes, it was. It was very smart. I just don't like the term thinking outside the box. It drives me nuts.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Because the term itself is not thinking outside of the box. It drives me nuts.
That's what somebody would say inside the box. Is that use that phrase?
I'm inside. But what if there is no box? What if it's a dodecahedron?
Mark,
Yes.
I wish I had a fucking box, and by box I mean coffin, to put you in it and then bury you alive while you scream. And then I would just hear your screams. But I just keep going. Just keep piling on the dirt on your
I saw
coffin.
Kill Bill as well.
Okay. That was one of my favorite movies, actually.
Oh, that's a great movie.
I like that movie.
It's so good. I remember my boyfriend at the time took me and he dragged me there and I said no.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was like the end of the movie and I was like, what happens next? When does Volume 2 come out? And I was like, oh, it's so good. Because I feel that rage every day. The same rage that Uma Thurman felt for Bill.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I feel that rage especially towards Mark.
That like weep boop weep like every time you see
Yes, I kind of do get that in my head when I see
You
you
should
and your
cue that
face
up,
and your
Brian.
fucking everything. We're doing this new. We're gonna do a new thing. I think it's gonna stick.
Okay.
Where I ask the guest who your favorite like old school comedian is and who like a favorite like nowish. I don't want to
Okay.
say new school because I think even like 2000s count.
Okay, that would be that. My hard thing would be like, what is old school? Is that like? Hold on, we're the Kill Bill music is coming in right on cue.
Yeah, right.
She's like,
Hey,
answer me now.
Hey, our
Don't
engineer.
don't you dissect my question.
Like, I mean, growing up, I love Jim Gaffigan and Mitch Hedberg. Would you
There you go.
consider them old school or new school?
I think
'Cause they're
so,
like
especially
90s.
since one's dead though.
Yeah.
So he's not going to do any more work, right? Right?
true,
He
that's
can't do
true.
any more work
Yeah.
from the grave. He just can't. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's literally a
Unless
physical.
someone makes a Twitter handle with.
Yeah.
They
I
could,
just,
I
just
guess.
swallowed that one.
Okay, right.
Twitter
I wasn't gonna. I'm not gonna say anything
And
else.
then, yeah, let me think. Like newer comics, I like Tig Notaro a lot.
Oh my God, so do I.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of hers. And then like up and coming people, I like Ian Edwards a lot too.
Okay,
He's really funny. Yeah,
I'll have to check him out. I don't think it sounds familiar.
he's done a couple of TV spots, and he's at the Laugh Factory sometimes. I find him. Yeah, yep, I like him a lot.
Yeah, I love Tig. Do you see the Tig? How she was just on Conan and she did the thing with the bench,
Yeah, where she just dragged it
stool.
around.
Yeah. I love
Yeah,
that.
I love that bit. She was on there with John Doerr a few weeks ago and did a thing where they just deconstructed the story of Goldilocks and the Three Bears.
I love it. I gotta check that out. I have not seen that
Yeah,
yet.
that one was funny.
Her new documentary's coming out too.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it was just at Sundance. I think it's coming out soon. She's got like 2. She's got another one where she goes to people's houses and just does stand up.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wherever like
I
they
did-
requested.
I did stand up at a house one time. It was a Mormon.
Oh my God,
a
yeah, I want
Mormon
to hear
house.
this because Mark is Mormon.
You're
I'm gonna-
Mormon.
yes, I'm gonna
I
peek.
did this show and this was after I did the set on Conan.
Mm-hmm.
I got an email from some guy like just looked me up online and it just said I do a once a year I do a stand up show in my house for all my friends and I host it and I bring in 2 comedians to perform in my living room. And he said Nate Bargatze had done it before.
Okay.
And he said he saw my Conan set and liked it, and he lives up near San Jose area, and
Okay.
so I was like sure I'll go up there, and it turned out he was Mormon and an FBI agent. So everybody at this little house was either Mormon, an FBI agent, or both.
And,
God, that's like the
you couldn't tell
scariest.
because everybody was
So-
wearing shirt and ties.
You had to do exactly. They were all dressed the same.
Wait, you have a name
And
tag.
so-
Wait, you have a name tag.
And so he had like it was really nice. It was a fun show. It was so much fun. But he told me ahead of time, it had to be a clean set, which wasn't a problem.
Right.
But so he had a little like reception before the show. So it was like a party in his yard, but no alcohol because it was
Right,
all
Mormon.
Mormons.
Right.
There was just like juice and water, and then he was playing music at the party from his laptop, and that what's that Mumford and Sons song where it says I really effed it up this time.
Oh,
Yeah.
Right.
Okay, so that he just had his like shuffle list on his computer, and that song came on, and instead of skipping the song, he sat there for the entire duration of the song and manually turned the audio down.
That's my boy.
Just manually muting all the
That's
curse
my-
words
Oh my
throughout the whole
God.
song.
I
That's
love
my
it.
peep. Shout out to him.
Yeah, and it was great, and he was an awesome
Shout out.
guy, and the show was really fun. And then I also remember what I also found was funny is that the way I found out he was an FBI agent, he said in one of his emails, like before I came up there, he was like, "Oh, if you have any issues, just call me, and don't worry, my answering machine, it says that I work for the FBI, like I'm an FBI agent, so don't let it freak you out." And I was like, what kind of, that's like the worst
What?
FBI agent. If you just call up their house and they're like, yeah, I'm an FBI agent, I'm not home right now.
But if this is a
Just-
terrorist, I'm just a normal
Exactly.
person.
Like, oh my gosh.
Like,
yeah.
hey, you've reached FBI
funny. You
agent
Just-
Ed Schwartz.
You got me. I'm an FBI agent.
What? Well, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Apparently working for him,
Interesting.
right? If
I
he
know,
can afford
it-
to host his own
And
comedy
it
show.
was a good show. Yeah, he had it catered by Mexican food catered, and everything was really good. Yeah.
Not Maui
Very
Taco.
interesting. Not Maui,
Maui
Taco.
Taco, no.
No.
No, fuck that place.
So
fucking hate
what's the in your experience then? Because you've done comedy on both coasts. Like what do you think the differences are between like the clubs and the scene out in New York and then the clubs and the scenes here?
I mean, I think the clubs, the way they're run, I guess, is probably similar both places. I found it easier to get up at the clubs out here, but it may just be that I was more established by the time I got out here.
Yeah.
You know, and I have more connections out here. I think I don't know if this is everyone's experience. I think my experience with the audience has been that in New York and LA, I think you can do well in both places. But I think in LA, it seems like the crowds are on your side from the start, and you can kind of lose them. Whereas in New York, they're kind of sitting there like try to make me laugh. There you have to win them over right from the start. But
I could see that.
But I mean, it also varies, you know, but from club to club. So
Because for me, I like obviously gritty comedy. I don't like crude comedy. Like, I
Yeah.
don't want to hear some guy talk about some chick's pussy for 50 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to hear that. I really don't. I don't think it's very funny anymore. If you're going to tell like a vagina.
anymore, there was a time. when it
yeah,
was
yeah,
just-
for sure there was
when
for
it was
time.
just-
There was a few years
Yeah.
back in the
For sure. But
back
now
in the early 2000s.
I just feel like it's been done to death that you better have something funny and original to say. But I feel like New York comedy is kind of, like that gritty comedy where you can get up and talk about serious issues and make fun of them, like, you know, depression and suicide and homicide. And,
Well, like Artie Lang.
yeah. Yeah. I like that gritty. I like that. I actually like New York so much. I would always go there at least once a year. But like that shoulder shrug when you're walking down like the sidewalk and stuff, and like people's shoulders like hit you and stuff. I kind of dug that. I miss it. Like that would never happen.
I
That
do
doesn't happen
miss.
here.
I miss like the energy of New York City. I
Yeah.
like LA, but yeah, I definitely miss New York.
Yeah, and they have great cupcakes if you care about that.
Yeah.
I knew you would, Mark. Whatever. Let's see. What am I missing? Am I missing anything? Oh, you know what I want to talk about? I want to talk about the note you got from an audience member in Boston.
Here's the thing.
Oh yeah.
Like I think the place, if there's any place in the country where I found that the clubs are a little weird, it's in New England. Like when I was up there, I think it's because it's like I don't know if it was just my experience, but I went up there with a friend of mine. This was a little over a year ago now, and we did some shows in Boston and then one in Maine. And I forget what he said exactly, but I remember the people up there are like these like super liberal, like super politically correct, like you know,
Right.
just sensitive about everything kind of audiences. And I forget what it was. He got lectured about something at the show we did in Maine. Like one of the other comics came up to him afterwards and was like, "Oh, you can't joke about that." And then I remember,
Okay.
Don't joke
Mainers
about
are
lobster.
weird.
Don't joke about lobsters.
But it was. I wish I remembered what he said now. I can't think of what it was, but I did this show in Boston at this place called the Comedy Studio, and it was like upstairs in Harvard Square, and it was like a packed show. Oh, the first thing I remember is I went to this show, and my parents, they're from Pennsylvania, and my family, they were like looking for something to do that day, and it was like a 3-hour drive or something. And they were like, "Oh, you and Chris are doing this show. We'll come up and see you." And so I show up at this show, and my parents are there, and the thing was like sold out.
Wow.
And so
wow.
the booker or the guy that ran the club was like, "Oh, you didn't tell me you had people coming. Like, where are we supposed to put them?" I was like, "This is the only show ever where you bring audience members," and the guy who's running the show is like upset about it.
Right, because normally you
It's
have to
just
bring a certain amount.
normally if you don't bring anyone, then they're upset.
Right.
But so anyway, I wound up they got in and they got seats, and I did this show, and it went fine. Like the audience was great. Like all the comics had fun. Like my set went fine. I didn't do anything like. I didn't do anything like risque or edgy or anything. And so after the show, I'm waiting by the door with the other comics, and this girl comes up to me out of the audience, and she says, "You were one of the comics that went up tonight, right?" And I said, "Yeah." And she just like put in my hand like this little folded up note and walked away.
Okay.
And I was like, I don't know. I thought maybe like it's her number, or like I was
Right,
like,
that's
oh,
what I
it's
would
probably
think.
something good, I unfolded it, and all it said, it was written on like a business card that had been at the table that she just like ripped in half and wrote on it. It just said, "I was having a good night until you came on stage."
What a bitch!
And there was no explanation
That's
of what
genius, though.
what joke, like if she just hated me, if there was some joke that set her off. But it just, all it said was, I was having a good night until you came on stage.
Do you think
so
she
my
was
set
for real?
ruined her whole. I think she was. I
Because
get the
that-
feeling that she was. 'Cause
I think that
don't
might be
know.
a fun thing to like what's it called? Pass it forward or
Yeah.
whatever. Like that's
Pass
like
it
the-
forward,
like the
but mean,
opposite of pay it
yeah,
forward.
The opposite of
But
pay
it's
it forward.
funny,
just
though.
ruin someone else's day.
that's just funny because it's like you
It
get
is funny if
because what if you just were the
Uh-huh.
first one that she saw that she was just meaning to just give that to somebody as a joke, and then like she's like, "Oh wait, this guy was up," you open it.
I think she meant it.
That's funny.
I got the feeling
You
that she
think?
meant it.
I think that's funny. I actually want to kind of do that.
Yeah,
now.
that is kind of
Yeah.
fun. I mean, well,
My day was going good.
or
until-
it's just a
Yeah.
good tactic,
Yeah.
like a flirting tactic.
I like
Back
that.
when I used to flirt, but I'm telling you, that's actually a solid tactic. Like, what if
yeah,
you would
I
have
like it.
followed
I dig
her?
it.
Was she cute?
She wasn't particularly good,
screw
good
her.
or bad looking. Yeah.
Okay, I was gonna say I don't know, that's a good word.
I like
That's
that.
a good war move.
That's funny.
I would. I'm just saying. Do you have any shows you want to plug?
I will be at Federal Bar in North Hollywood on Wednesday. Is it the 13th? I think. Yeah, Wednesday the 13th.
Okay.
Yep.
And let's do this. I like doing this.
Okay.
You have an official website.
Yep.
It's www. I always say the W's, and it feels
Okay,
like I
so
said
nobody
4.
messes it up.
Yeah, Mark knew
She's
that.
like, no wait, no. How many W's now? Hey, hang on.
Just
What if my website was the only one that had like 6 W's?
God. Is that even possible, Brian? Is that possible?
No.
No.
You could do it like www.
www.
But it has
I
to
don't want
be.
the dots. I just want www.
It stands for World Wide Web.
I know what it stands for, you guys. I have a bachelor's degree. Anyways,
Whoa, she went to college.
okay. Listen, you study that, really? Okay, Brian
plugging
is
the
cutting.
show.
All right, www.adamyenser.com and Twitter. You're on Twitter, but
I'm not on Twitter.
okay,
There's
but
someone made a Twitter account of my name, and there's this segment I do on the show called Kevin the Cashier.
on Ellen.
Yeah, and someone made a Twitter account with my face and my name
they-
and the character's name, and they've been posting things.
They
And
last posted March 13th.
They what?
The last post was March 13th because I followed them today. I thought it was you.
Okay, I thought you were. When you said the 13th, I thought they were plugging my show on the 13th. I
No,
was
they're
like,
last-
oh,
they're
actually,
last
really. I was
week.
like, they're really doing their research.
It's that same chick from that show. She's
Yeah. No, but someone, one of my friends told me that she found this this website or this Twitter handle, and I was like, I'm not on Twitter, and then I went and I checked it out, and they've been like posting jokes and stuff, and the jokes aren't good.
Oh,
So I'm
dear.
like,
You should
so now
see.
I'm like I'm upset. I'm like I don't care enough to do anything about it.
Right.
But I'm also like, I hope people aren't following this
You
Twitter
guys-
and thinking that I posted those jokes.
If you guys want to follow Kevin's fake Twitter,
Uh huh.
not Kevin. If If you want to follow Adam's fake Twitter, it's at Kevin the cashier. But disclaimer, it is not Adam.
It's not
it is
me.
some
I have
weirdo
no idea.
in his
No
parents'
idea whose it
basement.
is. That'd be weird if they were in my parents' basement.
Yeah, I hope they're not, because where are your parents? But it's scary, and also I would be upset for you because if the jokes aren't good, joke integrity is
that's the
everything
thing.
here.
People are afraid of people like stealing their material. I'm afraid of this person
Right in reverse.
attributing crappy jokes to me.
Crappy jokes. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna unfollow him, your fake Twitter,
or maybe
as soon
someone
as we're
go
done.
on and call him out. Do some good work for him here.
Okay, maybe we will. I'm good at tweeting people.
There you go.
That's for sure.
Yeah, let's call him out.
All right. And guys, I think this concludes this episode of Mad
think?
Mike Podcast. There we go. Got the music back for the third time. You can also check us out on the web, madmikepodcast.com. Just don't even worry about the W's. They'll come naturally in the Chrome browser. We're on Twitter, and then we're on iTunes.
Yeah.
Apple. So if you're on, if you have an iPhone or an Apple Watch, you can just hit search in iTunes and you can find us right away.
Like us on Facebook.
All right, guys. Thank you, our special guest Adam.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you
Adam.
so much. And Mark, you were contributed a little bit. You had one good question. Okay.
Love ya.
Thanks, guys, so much.
Thank you.